What if I told you that it was possible to transform a trauma bond into true love? Now, for anybody watching this who does not yet know what a trauma bond is, a trauma bond is a bond or a relationship that is formed on the basis of trauma. And this goes for a majority of the relationships that we build within our lives, whether it be friendships or intimate relationships. If you were to take an overview or a sort of audit of the relationships in your life, you would realize that, man, a majority of these relationships are rooted in trauma, right? I connect to the person on the basis of trauma or on the basis of the negative aspects of my life, the negative aspects of my past, the things that I have been through, the tumultuous situations, etc. Many of us build our relationships, build our romantic partnerships, etc., based on the brokenness within us as opposed to the power within us, as opposed to the promise of the future. We base our relationships on the brokenness of the past. Now, this may not be evident in every relationship, but once you start to really dig deep and see what most of your conversations and interactions are about, when you see what really makes you two click or what makes you two compatible to one another on surface level, you will start to realize that it is, again, stories of not just, let's say, hobbies that you're into, but the deepest relationships that you have, the most seemingly connected relationships, and in a lot of times, the most toxic of those relationships are the ones when we have a shared experience of traumatic experiences. If that makes sense for you, then let's get right to the next step. And so, in order for us to get to the space where we are transcending that trauma bond and turning our relationships into true love, which is very possible. I'm not saying that it's promised, and in many cases, a trauma bond will remain a trauma bond until one individual decides to heal from their trauma, and that relationship will start to dissipate in most cases, right? If we have a sort of codependent relationship taking place, when one person makes a decision to heal from the codependency, the relationship will tend to separate. And that's not a bad thing. That is a positive thing, especially if you're the one who is healing and has made that conscious decision to heal from the past. And so this really gives us a clue into how exactly we transcend those trauma bonds and create this dynamic of true love. Now, I use true love just because it's something that makes sense in most of our minds. Like, we can conceptualize true love as, again, intimacy, etc. But when I say true love, love really means wishing the highest good for another individual. That is a true definition of love. Most of us see love as lust or infatuation, etc. So I just want to get down to the core of what love is, right? Love meaning the highest good for somebody else. And true love meaning a true, deep connection based on wanting the best for one another, where most relationships that we have are actually not based on wanting the best for one another. Because if one person heals and the other person is left where they are, that creates a disparity and insecurity. It's almost like this unwritten contract is broken between the two. We were supposed to be each other's trauma mates, and now you're healing, and so you're no longer going to be that for me. And so again, we want to get out of that place, and we cannot help whether or not the other individual is willing to move into that zone or into that higher frequency with us. We cannot choose if that person is going to heal or not. That is a decision they have to make for themselves. And so in order for us to truly cultivate a true love relationship, a healthy relationship dynamic, even when the relationship started off as a toxic or a trauma bonded relationship, we have to have two individuals who are willing to heal from their trauma. I know it sounds revolutionary, groundbreaking, sensational, like something you would have never guessed, right? Who would have ever guessed that in order for two people who are in a trauma bond to have a true relationship based in love, they would need to heal from their trauma? And so you may ask yourself, well, how do two people heal from that trauma? Do they come to one another and embrace one another and tell each other they're going to be there for each other and, start to tell each other what to do and how to heal? Well, in some cases, very rare cases, yes. But in more cases than not, it's going to be one individual who starts to do the work, which is you, who realizes that I need to heal. I need to move forward from my past. I need to either, get the help that I need in order to discover myself, to get those external voices to remind me of my internal power, or I need to go on that solo journey within myself in order to truly discover that power, to let go of the past, to accept what has happened, to forgive and let go of those things, people, places, circumstances, including myself. You have to make a decision to heal. And what happens in more cases than not, what I often see happening is when you become a person who is now healing, you will start to see what is serving you and not serving you within your experience. And you will start to cut ties with the things that are no longer serving you. And what happens is the people around you start to freak out a little bit. They start to see that you're moving different, that your ways of being in this world are a little different. You might start to stand up for yourself a little more. You might start to shine a little brighter. And that's going to scare off the ones that we don't want to keep in the first place, right? The friends, the family, even the relationships that are terrified of your growth, of your development, of you stepping into those higher states of being. Those individuals we can do without, and that's okay. And it might be painful at first, but it is a natural part of growth. You have to outgrow that first environment. Now, once you are in a state where you are committed to your evolution, you are committed to your butterfly experience, right? You've been in that cocoon for so long and you're ready to burst out as a beautiful butterfly. Once you are in that space, you will start to attract people into your life who are in that very same state. And the ones who are in your life who are meant to stay will take that light that is emanating from you and they will emulate that light. They will find that light within themselves, right? You will have friends who see your change and they are inspired by it. Let's say you were just losing weight, right? You had a toxic, traumatic relationship with food. For your whole life, you were addicted to food and you comforted yourself with food and you ran from those dark emotions or those scary emotions with food. And all of a sudden you make a decision to heal. And now you're healing from within. So of course your actions are changing without. And so you're now eating healthier. You're exercising frequently. You are just an overall healthier person, going to sleep earlier and, actually getting rest and, no longer drinking and smoking and, doing whatever it is that was keeping you in a state of toxicity and destruction. You start to transform and the people around you start to flee. Some start to criticize, but there's a very few who will start to be inspired by what you're doing and want to join you on that journey. Now, the toughest news that anybody is going to receive at first is that in more cases than not, a majority of the people are not going where you're going. And when you have lived so inauthentically for so long, it is actually the greatest blessing for you to lose people on your way to authenticity. Let me repeat that. When you have lived a life in inauthenticity, your greatest blessing is the people that you lose in the process of becoming more authentic. Because think about this. Would you rather have people around you for your fakest version, people around you for your most broken version, people around you because of your most traumatized version, or people around you in your most empowered version? Now, that's a question that only you can answer. But for me, I would say I want people in my most empowered, my most authentic spirit. Those are the people that I want to live life with. I want to thrive with as opposed to survive with. And so when you start to heal, when you start to go through that experience of letting go of the vices and letting go of the D vices and the A vices and everything else that's been in the way of your true power, you will start to first clean out the clutter in that closet, and then the people who are meant to stay will. And if that is your intimate partner, then this is some of the greatest news that you can receive within the midst of this journey, is that you have somebody with you that is also in exact alignment with their own healing journey. And that is the only way you can, quote unquote, escape the trauma bond in any relationship dynamic, is two people who have now made a decision to change. And I've seen rare cases where two people simultaneously make a decision to change together and you just see them drastically change everything together, right? Universe has brought you two together in exact alignment in a higher state. Or sometimes when two people are very much down in the gutter, one starts to change and then the other starts to see that change and wants that person in their life so much and they want that change so much. They see this light that's emanating and so they start to gravitate towards it. But very seldom will you have one person who is seeing the light and transcending their old self, and then pulling the other person, forcing the other person into transforming or into change or into healing. Very seldom, if ever, as a matter of fact, you will never see it where there's one person who changes the other person. It is never the equation that works. And I just put out a video, maybe yesterday, which was about exactly this, which is stop trying to change them. You're not going to change them. You are not going to change them because it is not your role or responsibility to change that person, nor can you change that person. Even if a person changes based off of your change, your transformation, you are a catalyst, you are an inspiration, but you are not the change agent. They are the change agent. And we need to let go of that egocentric view of I am changing people. Even I realize that with all the content I put out in the world, I am still not the one who's changing anybody's life. I am giving you the opportunity to change your own. I am extending an olive branch. I am guiding you back to your true self. That's all I am doing. And so that's all you can do for anybody else. And spending your life trying to change and fix people is actually going to keep you in a broken state. It's going to keep you in a traumatized state. It's going to keep you in a victim state. And so we're looking to transcend all of that. And the only way we can do so is by focusing on your own healing. Only through your own healing can you inspire those around you to transform and transcend. Now, again, you might have somebody with you right now who is ready for that journey right now. However, don't bet your cards on it. Don't change, transform, transcend in order for the other person to change. Don't do anything in order to manipulate your external world in that way. Focus on your internal state and your world will inherently change. Don't try to fix anything using your might or your willpower. Go within yourself, make the decisions, and do what is necessary to step into those higher states of consciousness, those higher states of being, those higher states of who you truly are. That is your only job, and that's all you can really do at the end of the day. Now, for anybody who is in the state where you are truly healing, or at least are yearning for that healing from within, yearning to shed that weight of old and to step into your true God-given power, I want to work with you. Not if you're somebody who's interested. I don't want somebody who is half-hearted or feels as if they're a victim to the world and things are just happening to them. Not somebody who's still pointing the finger at everybody else and, giving up their power, but the person who's willing to take back their power, the person who's willing to walk these steps within themselves. I want to work with you. You are the type of individual who I know I'm a perfect fit for, and you're a perfect fit for me. So in order to make sure that we are that perfect fit, in order for me to become your coach in this healing journey, make sure to go into the description below, click on the link that's going to give you access to a questionnaire to see if you are right for me, I'm right for you, and then it will give you an opportunity, if you're accepted, it will give you an opportunity to book your consultation sessions with me. So that's the only way I can work with you one-on-one. Otherwise, I have created and built out a group coaching program that is launching very, very soon. And those two ways are going to be the two ways where I am able to truly make a deep, resonating, lasting impact in your life. So if that is you, make sure to go to the description below. If you don't see the link or you need help getting that link, just let me know in the comment section and I will get back to you with that link. But for everybody else who is still in that space of interested, you're still tire kicking, you're still, in that place in your journey when you're not completely ready to take that full step, just continue to saturate your mind with good messaging. Continue to fill your spirit with the right messaging. And I promise you, you will see yourself start to shift into your power more and more. Start realizing who you are. And from that place, you'll realize it is time to shed that old self. I appreciate you guys. I love you so much. Peace.